Right. Shotgun? Check. Smoke grenades? Check. Rabid My Little Pony repellent? Double check. It's the 5 games for Doomsday Expeditions.
So, how's the work on the Spielworks booth going?
Oh my God! It's
like it's Saturday. It's the worst day.
It's
right?
non-stop. People
Non-stop.
They keep coming up and they want to demo stuff.
Right.
They want to buy stuff.
Right.
They want to talk to Uli.
Yeah.
They want to talk to the designers.
Right.
I hear. This is what I hear.
You haven't been there.
This is what I heard is going on there.
I mean, so
I walked by just now. So apparently Pilgrim didn't make it to Spiel.
Okay.
And this seems to be a recurring theme with Essen. You come here, your heart set on a particular game, you show up to the booth, sorry, it's still on the pallet, sitting in customs. Didn't make it.
It's fascinating, right? Because I was speaking to De Vere today, and they were talking about, last night, the Portuguese representative was telling us they'd all sold out of everything. And I said to him, but I assume for you, selling out of games then important, right? And he was like, no, not really. It's nice to sell games, but that's a really big company. But for some... And for Spielworks, I was speaking to Uli yesterday, kind of selling games isn't an issue either because he pre-sells his games. But for Nick, who does Pilgrim, I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And for smaller companies, you come to Essen to make your money, right?
And he's here to sell his game, and he's not going to be able to sell his game. And this is the sort of moment when you hook people.
Yeah.
And hope they're going to demo it and then just buy it, or just buy it. And now that if it doesn't make it to Essen, when's the next big opportunity?
Right.
So that's pretty rough.
And someone like Nick, who's his second game, he also wants to develop a kind of following, right?
Yeah.
And so it's fascinating. Like poor Trick or Treat, none of their stuff has arrived at all. Won't arrive by the end of the weekend. But so
I can give a Steve Cyrek endorsement to Pilgrim. I played it at LaRiaCon. I quite enjoyed it.
It was good, Pilgrim.
I won, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you rarely lose, do you?
I lose often in our group.
So how are you feeling today?
Healthy.
Oh yeah.
Not hungover. I'm still not sleeping very well.
No.
It's just like a thing, Sleep 5 hours, 6 hours a night. Sofa's very comfortable.
Right.
I haven't yet felt the sort of Saturday malaise that you can get at Essen, though, because basically I got in a bit early with the press pass. Thank you very much, by the way.
No worries.
Sat down at Septima, which is a nice sort of...
That's Robot, is it?
I don't remember. It's, you mean the company? Mind Clash Games from Hungary.
Oh, it's Mind Clash, okay.
Yeah, it's like Concordia with witches and a few other random mechanics, so very much Silver Age according to your definition.
They feel like a classic Silver Age company to me.
Solid Silver Age Euro game. It's fine, it's fun, it's probably unnecessarily complicated, and it's just a bunch of stuff blah, here, more mechanisms. But I quite enjoyed it. I could imagine playing it again. Can't really imagine buying it and owning it. This is the real change for me, I think, this Essen. I don't feel like I have to own everything.
Right. I mean, you've even sold games, and you got on the selling games bandwagon a bit late, but it feels like,
Well, I didn't want to have to create the listings because it seems like a to-do.
Right.
I didn't realize there's a tool that actually creates it for you, and I'm all over that. Essen 2023, watch out. Watch out, Hall 7.
Yeah, so it's going
to be S.J. Cyrek in glowing neon letters.
just put the profits from this year's sales into a neon sign for next year.
Could I auction off 5-minute visits with me for 20 euros?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'd sell out.
Yeah. We do how many slots do you think? 10 slots?
Yeah.
10 slots, 5 minutes each, so I get a little break at the end. Just come and chat with me. Okay, starting bid €1. What do you think I get up to?
Oh, €9?
You think €9? You think people would pay more than €0 to come meet me?
I don't think you get €9, to be honest.
What about you? How are you feeling today?
I'm actually fucked, but I'm always fucked at Essen because I drink too much.
You didn't drink that much yesterday.
No, I didn't drink that much yesterday, but still. And, you never sleep properly and all that. But it's just, I don't know. I don't like fucking Saturday here. I don't. It's too busy. And if we weren't here for an event, I wouldn't be here. And it's been a weird one for me in certain ways. Because, well,
the accommodation's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it always is now.
So, I mean, we'll talk about that off air. We'll do admin off air, but yes. But I don't know. I feel like I feel like I need to reevaluate what I'm doing with this project.
The whole project?
Yeah, that doesn't mean stop it or anything.
Yeah.
But it just means reevaluate. Because I'm beginning to feel after 5 years it should be fucking further along than it is. And it was just highlighted very strongly to me.
No, your problem is you aren't shameless enough.
You know, standing in the Dice Tower booth, and I just don't get a kick out of being insignificant. And feeling insignificant's a bit rough. And yesterday I had a bit of a fucking crisis.
I think probably there's like some kind of hockey stick type growth that media figures go through where it's like very, very slow, nothing's happening, and then you take off.
Yeah.
And who knows how long that will take to happen.
Who knows how long it will take. But it was very fucking sobering, actually.
Well, since we're doing therapy hour, why don't we consider what we have to be grateful about?
Okay.
So what are you enjoying about being here?
I love it here. I do. I'm just tired today. I love being here and meeting people I've never met before.
You are a man on the scene, whatever else you have to say about it.
Yeah,
you know a lot of people.
I know, but I don't know. My experience in the Dice Tower booth was not a pleasant one for me.
10 months from now, you're going to be amped for Essen 2023. I know it.
I just came away. I came away with quite a self-esteem hit.
Well, is anybody going up to that booth wanting to meet anyone besides Tom Vassell?
Sure, but it wasn't that, and I won't talk about it on the podcast because I don't want to talk out of school, but it wasn't a nice experience for me.
Okay.
But that just might be a factor of fatigue and being a bit sensitive because I'm tired. But
well, we got to set up a 5 games for Doomsday booth.
Not a chance.
And by booth I mean the 2 camping chairs we're sitting in now.
I am never,
parked in a corner of one of the halls.
I am never doing a fucking meetup. I am never having a fucking booth. My ego cannot take it. But yeah, I mean, we've got this meetup I signed us up for at 2:00.
That's going to go great.
I'm fucking dreading that.
It's going to go great.
And then I might, after that, repair to the pub for a couple of hours.
Yep.
To burnish my ego and then come back here.
For more drinks.
For a couple of drinks at 6. And then go back to the flat and actually play a game, I think.
Yeah, we might play a game tonight, right? Deal with the Devil, is it?
Jana's learning it. I left Jana learning it as I left. So we'll see.
Well, she wants to play it, so we can depend on her to learn it.
Exactly. Right, what's the plan now, Stan?
Oh, man, I want to do something like a little bit boring, like sort of just look at accessories and stuff. I like to do that on Saturday because you can't get into a game, but you can look at the booths where they're like selling paraphernalia, and I want some paraphernalia. I want some like component trays. Maybe if something like, strikes my eye. I'm always talking about getting like extra historical coins for my games. I never do. So I thought, today's a good day to look at sort of like the back of Hall 6, the back of Hall 5. See if there's anything worth buying that's not a game.
All right. Well, I'm going to go and get fucking hammered. Let's do this thing. So it's Essen. It's day... Oh, my God.
Day 3.
It's day 3. Well,
That's
day
right.
4 for me, I arrived on Wednesday, but day 3 of Essen.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
And I'm here with Matt from Devia.
That's right.
So, my first question is, Devia's a Spanish publisher.
Yes.
You don't have a very thick Spanish accent.
No, I don't.
How did you get involved with Devia originally?
Oh my, well. So Devir is actually a Brazilian company.
Oh, right.
We started in Brazil in 1987 as a distributor of indie comics. And over the years we expanded into various territories, Portugal, Spain.
Yep.
And then I joined Devir as the person who was going to expand our distribution of trading card games in Latin America.
Okay.
So I used to work for Wizards of the Coast, and Devir was my client. And later we became friends, and later when they wanted to sell into Latin America, they said, okay, Matt, will you come and join the company? And so that's how I started.
How's your Spanish?
It's good. Well, it's pretty good.
Yeah?
It's gotten better since I've moved to Barcelona.
Right, sure.
The Latin American Spanish is much different than Castilian Spanish.
Yeah.
But I seem to be managing. So.
Do you speak with the lisp? The Spanish speak with?
I don't know. You'll have to ask one of my colleagues that.
Do you say Barcelona or Barcelona?
Barcelona. So, but it's probably with a bad accent. So.
And so, tell us something about... So, I think the people in the English-speaking world are kind of familiar with Devia.
Right.
But probably don't know much about the company, its history, and kind of where it's been. Because I think the last couple of years, it sort of really hit the attention of the English-speaking crowd. So,
Right.
so tell us about the journey of De Vere up until this point.
Oh wow, okay. Well, as I mentioned, we started in Brazil in the late 1980s. The founders of the company were a bunch of Unisys engineers who loved comic books.
Right.
But there was in Brazil at that time there weren't very many indie comics. You know, you had your standards, the Marvel, DC titles, but indie comics were not really a thing.
Sure.
So it's I like this story actually. One of the guys, he took $5,000 in cash, took a flight to Houston, got on a bus from Houston to Denver to go and visit Mile High Comics, which was a big comic book distributor back in the day,
Right.
and made his first purchase for the first importation of comics into Brazil.
Wow.
And then, at that time in the late 80s, there was a big overlap between comic stores and game stores, especially with RPGs.
Yeah.
So we started publishing RPGs in Portuguese, comics in Portuguese, and later that opened the door for us to get the exclusive distribution of Magic the Gathering in Brazil in around 1993.
I guess that was a huge thing, right?
Well, Magic, yeah, back in that day, Magic hit the market like a bomb.
Yeah.
And it really changed the industry. And so we were fortunate enough to get distribution rights in Brazil, and then over time, Wizards asked us to open offices in Portugal, and later Spain, and then Latin America, because they didn't really have anybody who could distribute their game effectively in Latin America. And that's how we kind of got started with all of this in this industry. But then in 2000, our Spanish affiliate was lucky enough to get the rights to the Lord of the Rings board game.
Right.
And we published the Spanish version, and that's how we got into board games. And so it's been a very long journey. I don't want to say that we've done it single-handedly, but we've had a big part in constructing markets for modern board games in the countries where we're present. And so currently we have offices in 9 different countries. So as I mentioned, Brazil, Portugal, Spain. Then we opened in the U.S. to distribute into Latin America because in Florida, because that's kind of a portal into the rest of Latin America. And over time we realized that in order to sell board games effectively, we really needed to have local offices. So we opened in Chile in 2006, then in Mexico in 2013, Colombia, Argentina, and later Italy. So that's kind of how things currently stand. And yeah, we first hit the English-speaking markets. Up until then, virtually everything we distributed was Spanish.
Right.
Or Portuguese. And in 2016, we launched our first English language game, which was Holmes, Sherlock, and Mycroft.
Okay,
and then slowly over time, we started to build the De Vere brand as an English games publisher.
So why? I mean, clearly, because I was speaking with your head of Portugal. You publish Catan in Portuguese, which must be a thing. You know, publishing Magic in Spanish and all of this sort of stuff. Why go into the English-speaking world? Because clearly the Spanish, the Iberian world was obviously being successful. Why go into English?
Well, at some point we realized that it would be beneficial to the company strategically to have our own proprietary line of games.
Right.
So not just have things that are under license or be distributors. And obviously if you're going to really be successful with your own proprietary line of games, you need to be selling in the English language market. You can just do it, but if you want to make things big, you have to be in North America and in greater Europe. Because whether it's Nordic countries or Germany, there's still a lot of consumers who like to have games in English.
I guess you've got the 2 pillars of gaming is America and Germany, right?
I would say, well, I guess so, yeah.
So you have to kind of be in those markets.
Yeah, for sure. And so, we've been lucky. I mean, I have to say our publishing department is really good, and they make my job easy. They publish great, high-quality games that people seem to like, and so it's been a 7-year journey, and we're finally coming to the point where people recognize our brand, luckily, as something they can count on for high quality games, and people tend to look for us and like, okay, what's the next thing De Vere is going to release?
So it's interesting because De Vere first came to my attention with Silk. Was, 4 or 5 years ago, I guess? Something along those lines. But the last couple of years, so last year with Bitoku, and this year with Lacrimosa, De Vere has become a brand to watch for people.
Wow, that's very nice.
So for the audience listening, we're in De Vere's booth in Hall 3, and Hall 3 is the one with big French companies tend to go.
Right.
And it's one of the big halls in Essen.
It's the big boy hall.
Yeah, exactly. De Vere has a big hall last night. De Vere had a bigger Lacrimosa event with opera singers, and I'm sure many of the people there weren't just there for the free wine and food. They were also there because, De Vere's a thing now.
Wow.
And this seems to me has been the last couple of years. What can you put that down to? Is it just the strength of Bitoku? Is it just that took off?
No, I think at a certain point, people started, and it's been a slow boil, right? But like you said, with Silk, that was one of people liked Holmes at the very beginning, and then Silk, that got a lot of attention from influencers in the States. That's still my favorite De Vere game, by the way. I love Silk.
Yeah.
And then Red Cathedral really made a lot of noise. And so, it's just, one thing after another. And I say that our publishing department hits way more than they miss.
Right.
And so it's impossible to hit 100% of the time, but our publishing department has a really good track record. They're great, and I give almost all the credit to them. So, we do a good job marketing, and we do a good job with our trade show presence and things like that. But it's just, they're high quality games that people seem to gravitate to.
So what does Essen give you as a publisher? Because I was speaking to the head of Portugal last night, and he was telling me that, you sold out of everything essentially.
Yeah.
But I assume for a company of De Vere's size, it's not about sales of the game in Essen, right? That's a nice bonus. What does Essen bring to the company?
Yeah, it's not at all about how much we can sell here, although that is a nice bonus, like you said. No, Essen is an event that the rest of the world looks to as kind of, if not the pinnacle event for board game releases. And so if you can kind of get in front of the people who are watching Essen even from afar, and they say, okay, De Vere's going to be launching this, it adds to our global brand exposure in a great way. And so I think that's pretty much it.
And what does your Essen look like? Because you're taking a 15-minute break now to speak to an idiot like me, but I'm sure you speak to serious people over the weekend. And what does your Essen experience?
Oh, it's very boring, actually.
Right.
I talk to customers, I talk to distributors, I talk to media people. I like talking to the media people is not boring. It's fun.
Right.
And then I also enjoy the retail aspect of it, where you're just chatting with consumers. You get an opportunity to demo games. I love to demo games.
Sure.
And so those things are always fun. And then I get to be with my colleagues. I love doing that. It's not often you get all of our colleagues from different offices in the same room, and we get a chance to share ideas and have dinner together and socialize. And I really, really enjoy our team and everybody I work with. So that's a great aspect of it as well.
And so, what now for De Vere? Lacrimosa, it seems, has been a success. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And what next?
Well, 2003, we have an excellent lineup. We're showing some of the games. And here we've got a little coming soon booth. Next year we've got another game by Herman Milan, who is the designer of Bitoku. We've got Cybernetic Forest, which is this cute little gateway game where you're leading your animals out of the forest and helping them find food along the way. We've got Three Ring Circus, a circus-based game. In North America, our plan is to donate a portion of our profits from Three Ring Circus to a organization that rescues performing animals, former circus animals. And then we also, we have Jerusalem, which is a game based on The Last Supper, which is kind of a bold move, if I may say so. But it's an amazing game. We totally stand behind the game. Gamers are going to love it. And then finally, in Essen of next year, we've got the White Castle, which is designed by Shay and Israel, who are the designers of Red Cathedral. And it's the same kind of format in terms of a big game inside of a medium-sized box, but it'll be mechanically quite different from Red Cathedral. So we're totally looking forward to pretty much everything, all of our big releases throughout the year.
Fabulous. Well, Matt from De Vere, thank you ever so much for your time.
Thank you. It was really a pleasure to meet you. I really enjoyed it.
So it's Essen, it's day 3. I'm feeling very ragged around the edges, and I'm here with Rosa from Frosted Games.
Hello, Ben. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
How has your Essen been so far?
Wild. So, especially the first 2 days or something like that, I was exhausted and panicked because I have responsibility for our whole booth and for our demos and for press meetings and everything, and it was just like I hope that everything. I had nightmares that I just would come here and the booth would be a total mess and all the panels would be at the wrong place and stuff like that. And only one panel is on the wrong place and no one will notice it because it fits there too. So
I was walking by and I was thinking, that panel's not correct.
They are not called games frosted. No, it's not like that. It's just.
And so, how is it running a booth, and especially because this year is much busier than last year because now it's the full Essen again.
Yeah.
I mean, how is it? Is it stressful? Is it enjoyable? Is it just absolutely exhausting?
Since the organizing stuff is done, I enjoy it so much. It's so great to talk to all the people. I go from meeting to meeting, and it's just, I love it. It's so amazing. So many cool people like you, of course.
Well, indeed.
It's just so much energy, so much enjoyment for games, and people are so happy to be here again. It's so great to see.
And so, what's Frosted got here at the show this year?
We've got Endless Winter, which is the big release.
The German version,
the German version, exactly. For Endless Winter at our booth, which is this complex Euro game where you do lots of stuff. You do area control, you do hand management, deck building, everything. We've got that for demoing. We've got some of it for sale, hopefully still. I don't know exactly if some is left. And next to that, we've got, of course, Aleph Null, the solo game that surprisingly many people are talking about.
Yeah.
Really cool. It's done by Tony Boydell, a British game designer who's doing his solo game trilogy. It's 3 games. We had Lux Eterna 2 years ago, I think, which was part 1. Now we've got Aleph Null, second part, which is a demon summoning game. First, Lux Eterna is a space traveling. Second, a demon summoning. And the third game, it will be I think it will be a zombie game.
Yeah, I played a prototype of that actually.
Yeah. And the kicker is, at the end, all 3 of them will be connected, and you can imagine a story that goes around all 3 of them. And I don't know how he wants to do that, but I'm all in for that.
And so, how important for a company like Frosted is something like Essen?
I think very important, because it's one of the opportunities where many people can see us. I mean, we do marketing, we do stuff, but it's hard to get out of a very small bubble. And Essen is just, I think 200,000 people this year, something like that. And they have to walk past our booth because we are so close to the entrance.
Right.
And they all will see us, they can see the games and connect them to us finally. And that's really important. That's, I think, a lot more important than the sales we make at this fair.
And finally, have you managed to check out any games yourself, or has it all been work?
I had 1 hour of break yesterday, and I used that to get a present for a friend. I got the Great Split, and then I stood in line to get it signed by the illustrator of the game. Who did a little painting inside the boxes and stuff like that, and that was my break.
Oh, lovely.
And
well,
now I hope I have time tomorrow to look at it a bit more.
Well, lovely. Well, Rosa, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully you don't work too hard.
Tomorrow will be really relaxed. Today is still stressful, but yeah. Thank you for having me, and goodbye.
So it's Essen. It's day 3. I'm dying of fatigue, and I'm here with the head honcho of. I could see, I couldn't even think of it then.
Yeah.
Berlin Brettspiel.
Is he the head honcho, or is Meeple Pete the head honcho? I'm a little bit confused.
Now, Meeple Pete's like the head honcho of everything.
Yeah.
He's
And
a dark.
Alex
He's
is
the
just
highest in rank.
He is a dark mastermind. Not the highest in rank, but he is in the shadows.
He pretends that he's not. Whenever I see him, he's like, "Oh, I'm not in charge."
I think he's this guy. If you watch old movies and old photographs, you always see this shadow.
The shadowy
Meeple Pete
presence.
You know,
in
like Kaiser Soze.
Yes.
That's Meeple Pete, basically.
Oh, he's
Meeple
like
Pete.
the Kaiser Soze of board games.
Exactly.
Oh, it's all coming together now. It's
Yeah,
like that slow motion when the coffee cup is falling.
Exactly.
It's got Meeple
Pete's face on
Yeah,
it.
but,
a little cartoon on
but
the
this
back.
is a secret you have to keep also. A
Yeah, yeah,
secret.
no,
Otherwise,
I mean,
Don't worry.
this recording is purely for private
okay,
use
okay,
only.
okay, okay.
I mean, using the words Meeple Pete
yeah.
that
Otherwise,
much in a minute,
No one's going to listen to
it's going to be
this.
too steamy
of course,
for the
yeah.
audience.
So we are a man's danger in territory here.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So, Alex,
Yeah.
how did you end up becoming one of the head honchos at Berlin Brettspielcon?
So I think it started all in my study times. I come back to board games, so I was writing my master's thesis, and writing these stuff can be a little bit, you have to see other projects, and I got more into board games. And I watched, for example, the Dice Tower and more shows on YouTube, and then I stumbled upon Hunter and Kron, the show, and I also stumbled about the project that they were started at these times, the community event, BerlinCon. And so I thought it is a great idea to put such community event in Berlin. And I went to I think it was also the first meeting in the board game cafe Spielwiese at this time. And this was the first meeting they want to talk to people, to volunteers, and see who is in the team. And I think this was also the first time I met Meeple Pete there. So then we come into talking, and I said, I want to help. At this time I also was.
So how when you first met Meeple Pete, how scared were you?
I think there was nothing there of scariness.
Really, because the first time I met him, I
Yeah.
thought, who is this presence? He was just like a presence, not evil, not good, just there.
I think he was sitting there, and this was also a good sign, because
Did
when
you know?
he's standing.
Well, exactly.
Did you know when you met him that your life was about to change?
No, I think not that.
That's what he does.
And I also I didn't think anything about the moment. Maybe that was the thing that kept me alive at this time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, because I had luck, enormous luck.
Everybody remembers where they were, if they were alive during like the Kennedy assassination, 9/11, like these signature historical events, and the first time they met Meeple.
You met Meeple Pete.
Yeah, and in this time I didn't realize it, so I was so lucky.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You must be like one of the few people who was bombarded by his power.
Yeah. So, lovely. I have this bombardment every Sunday.
Right
now.
exactly.
So
Wow.
So
It's intense.
Yeah, it's intense. So, but you get tougher. Yeah, tougher in the inside and.
I mean, I don't think I'll ever develop a tolerance to Meeple Pete, but
By exposure to him, you somehow become stronger.
Of course,
through necessity.
Of course. Yeah, I'm much harder than Superman right now against Kryptonite, because I can stand
every
heat.
Sunday with Meeple Pete.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
So and then I joined the voluntary crew,
Yeah.
and at this point the BerlinCon, this was a part of me. Every time I was a volunteer there, building up the stuff, so on and so on. And then the community event was growing bigger and bigger, and so it has to be also more going to in a more professional way. This way. So my dear colleague Andreas then was also organizing the BerlinCon, and in 2019 we have this enormous location change to the station, the great location we have right now. Really good. Yeah. Before the location were also nice, but they were too small, so we are getting bigger and bigger.
Off tape, we'll talk about my problems with the previous location.
Yeah, you know, because the name was cool, but the location was very hot. So
Did you set out knowing that you were going to create the best gaming convention in Germany?
Oh, this is
Essen's a completely. I'm not comparing it to Essen.
No,
Essen's
this is
like
another
different
league,
style,
something different. Yeah.
But for gamers, I think Berlin Brettspielcon is the con now.
I think we.
Not that I've been to any other con in Germany.
But it's okay. But I think the whole atmosphere there, the heart inside me and the other people, all our volunteer crew, putting all these stuff together, this love goes over to the visitors and back and forth and it's like
It
a
is very
hippie
friendly.
community
It is
for
very
board
friendly.
gamers.
So
You nailed the formula.
So the reason we got you on tape is
Yeah.
because you were just about to explain to us
Yeah.
what changes are going to happen to BerlinCon.
Of course.
So do the presentation to the whole
to the whole world.
Is Ben going to get an entire hall dedicated to 5
So
games?
it depends on the money he can spend, because
What?
we have another hall here for free, not for free in pricing, but it is empty right
Okay.
now. So for, I say, check the numbers, 12,000 euros.
What if it's still empty
Yeah.
this time next year? Or when is it? June or something?
Yeah, it's June. It's from 14 to 16 July.
July. Okay,
yeah.
so if it's still empty on the 13th of July.
Can I have the hall?
Now the problem is right now we don't rent the whole location.
Okay.
Right now we in these middle sweet spot we have to rent different halls, but then we have to pay them.
Can we have like a
Otherwise-
picture of my smiling face just on all of the merch material?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, we have some sponsoring packages as well.
Okay,
So
great.
maybe.
Great.
Yeah.
Does Meeple Pete demand an entire hall just as his like throne room,
Yeah.
like an audience chamber?
Yeah, because we have some underground facilities there and some dungeon
dungeon.
style.
So you're going to
That makes
sponsor me to come to Berlin Brettspiel?
No, that was
great.
not the right thing there. You have to sponsor yourself to be there. Yeah.
So I don't get it. So how much are you going to give me?
I give you everything, but nothing related to
Well,
the
he
Berlin
did,
Con.
he did say the love is unlimited. Love is free.
Love is free.
Love is free. Yeah, I give
Money,
you my,
though, and
yeah,
space?
Yeah.
Fuck
This is the hard part for me as well. Yeah, I can't pay everybody in love, but
Okay, I'm putting this in my calendar now. By the way.
Yeah, you have to.
Don't pay me in love.
You have
I mean, you get in trouble. You get in trouble when you start paying people in love.
14 to 16
Yeah,
July
July,
2023.
yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
listening should be there.
Of
you get,
course.
You get to meet me and Ben.
Yeah, perfect.
right.
Well, unless
perfect.
Ben gets COVID again.
Well, I had
yeah.
COVID last
But
Berlin
I
Con.
hope that. Let us fingers crossed that maybe next year and in this state of the year in summertime,
COVID will
may
be less of a factor.
Yeah,
Let's
of
hope.
course. We hope. So for everyone who was there this year,
Yeah.
we have the big hall with the exhibition part in Hall 3.
Yeah.
So right after the entrance, the free space with food trucks and stuff, and then you can go through into the Hall 7. Also a big room for exhibition part, and then a lot of chairs and tables, the free gaming area with the library. You can
Yeah.
borrow the free games, and then there was the flea market in the
Right.
back side with also thousands of games, and also areas for free gaming and some tournament stuff over the day, and then another outdoor area with food truck and stuff. And so the feedback was so great, and what was filled us with joy is that in 2019 we had, I think, nearly 10,000 visits.
Wow.
10,000?
10,000, and this year we got to 12,000. And-
Wow, so
and-
it was the highest number
yeah,
ever.
it was the
this year.
highest number this year. So
That's a good post-pandemic
yeah,
rebound.
of course. So we are back on track. So of course, these 2 years for us, or especially for me, was really hard. In 2020, I was planning something here, something there, nothing happened. So it was.
Was there ever any worry that
Yeah, there
Berlin
was.
Con would have to stop?
Of course, there
Yeah?
was. In 2020, we had a crowdfunding that was really extensive for us. So I think nearly 50,000 euro we
Yeah.
collected. So we got some promo T-shirt stuff and this. So not all the money came to us, but a big amount of it, and it was really crucial.
That saved the convention.
That saved the convention, of course. So the community event for the community was saved from the community. So this is also a neat story there. And in 2021, we had a very small convention.
Yeah,
You were
I
there
was there,
because
yeah.
we had these constrictions. Only 2,000.
You weren't selling beer for some reason?
Yeah. Because,
Weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
thought it
know
was
these
strange.
drunken British American style people.
But you know what? I remember going to that one thinking this is sort of like the beginning of the reopening. You know, it
Exactly.
was so great to be able to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was so great you didn't cancel it.
Yeah.
And you had to move it to a less like
it
clement time of
it
year.
was also very important for us because there's a.
It gave us hope.
Yeah, and us, and me too, because at this point, what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And this gave me so much spirit back to get back on track and do it with joy, and so I'm really happy that this year was such a success for us.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I think we will have more visitors next year because all the people say, I have to come to the game night, and next I will come both days and not only one day. And we also hope on the other side there's more exhibitionists are coming because also we
So
need the.
you don't know this, but I'm actually the self-appointed creative director of Spielworks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk to Uli, and I
It's
think
Uli. I mean, he's
we can have a
usually
much,
there. But
yeah, well, but we can have a much larger booth.
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
just sign off on it now.
I think I could, right? I have
just
that
sign
authority.
off on it.
Yeah.
I mean, Uli's got an unlimited budget, so if you
Yeah.
want to call it the Spielworks Hall, what did you say?
Yeah, maybe we just say the
20,000
whole hall.
euros.
How much
That's
was-
fine, Uli.
Yeah, but we had this whole tour I told you earlier about. So,
Yeah.
it's the
No,
Spielworks Hall.
it's done,
right
it's a
now.
done
Well,
deal.
just the
it's a done
Spielworks
deal.
Hall. Shake hands.
Yeah, no problem.
Uli,
Yeah.
done deal.
Don't worry, I got it.
However much it costs,
Yeah.
Uli's
I'll handle
good
the
for it.
details.
The hall is really great. You can clean it with water and everything you're doing.
That'll be my
is
job, I
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Telling someone to clean it with water.
yeah.
So what are the major changes for next
So
year?
I think we will going a little bit bigger, not too much, because we have all to handle all these stuff and buying these rent these spaces. And if you were in 2019, we have these free gaming area. We have this in Hall 4. This
Right.
was the hall
that, yeah.
on the left side from Hall
Yep.
3. And now we are going to go in this hall also for exhibition parts.
Okay.
And this style, also we want to have these small booths, the creativity of all these small publishers. So in this hall we are mainly going to 10 to 20 square meter booths, but this also a little bit cheaper. And for the other spaces, the Hall 3 and part of the Hall 3, we then say, okay, these are more the bigger partners, starting from 20 square meters and going up.
And then
maybe
hall
100.
2, the Spielworks Hall.
Yeah, and then the Spielberg's Hall, of course, so special event hall. And
You're doing the flow market in a different location?
yeah, we're doing. Yeah, oh, you can see it right here. So, yeah, this is.
Seems to need to be bigger.
Yeah, so this is a work in progress,
Super
right
successful part of this con.
here. Yeah, of course, and but also sometimes a struggle,
Right.
because the exhibitioners or some of them say, "Oh, there some money is going there and not in our pockets," and I always.
It's not a zero-sum game.
This thing is, I always say, I know, okay, all these publishers, they also have to make money, and for some it's really crucial, but our event is not all about selling the game.
It's in the community
It's
event,
for
right?
the community
I don't-
and stuff like this.
I'm not going there to buy a brand new copy of the German edition of Wingspan.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going there to find some game from like 1995
Yeah,
for 10 euros.
But for us, it's also important that Feuerland is there,
Yeah.
and they have also maybe cover a little bit cost, but
Sure.
Feuerland is really, really cool there. They also love the flea market. They love that the games are on the second. I think Feuerland is also doing a little flea market in their booth here.
Sure.
Was it difficult for you to get publishers to buy into the concept of Berlin Brit Spielcon at first?
Yeah,
because they already have to do so many cons.
Yeah. So we started in I think 2015 though. It was a small event, and we have to be patient with sometimes. For example, Schmidt-Spiele, right from Berlin, they weren't there for the start in the beginning. So we had to convince them, I think, in the third year or something. But right now they say, okay, it's Berlin, it's our event too.
And it's deliberate that you have the con the weekend before the Spiel des Jahres, right?
So this was the main thing that we thought, okay, there are people here, there are authors, designer, all these kind of people are already here. I think maybe at this point we are big enough that probably it wouldn't matter so much, but it's a really great thing getting together.
Absolutely.
So the ceremony for Spiel des Jahres this year is also on Sunday.
Right.
So when we are closing our halls, then the ceremony there will go on. All the press can go there, have a really great evening event there. And on Monday there's a press conference then for the media, television diet like that. So I think the whole weekend is about board games and all this stuff. So so this year we will go a little bit bigger, and the flea market is that's a work in progress thing right now. So that it's not maybe it's not what we are talking right now, but there are these plans that we go from one hall in another hall, a slightly bigger hall. Maybe the location is a little bit better. So that means not much more board games, but more space where more people can go in, spend maybe a little bit less time, not so much crowded places. And my wet dream in this direction would be to have an app system, like if you go to a doctor, you check in and this app says, your meeting with the doctor is in 15 minutes. In 2019, I had several meetings with some guys, I think from Austria or Switzerland. They are developing some system for the medical sector, and this was the plan in 2020 to implement this one. So you can check in with your app, get a number, and then you can check your phone and it says, okay, in 50 minutes your slot for the flea market is ready, and then you go here.
That's not how it works, though. The door's open to BrettSpielCon. You run as fast as you can to the front of the line for the flow march.
I know, but the thing is...
And then it doesn't matter because everyone's looking at everything at the same time anyway.
Okay, but the thing is, the people... Sometimes they are waiting 2 hours in the line, and they're not complaining. They are not so mad about it. But it would be more efficient for everybody. They can play a game for 2 hours.
So to wrap up, So, I mean, we just let the listeners in on a business meeting, basically.
Yeah.
So we've agreed Hall 2 is Spielwerks Hall.
Yeah.
And so, coming back to this. How much is BrettSpielCon going to sponsor 5 games for Doomsday to come to the con?
To come to the con.
Yeah. How much are you going to pay me?
Yeah, I think maybe a naked photo from my delicious body and Meeple Pete.
Well, if you're going to throw in Meeple Pete, then come on, that's a pretty good
it's
deal.
It's a couple picture, half naked from Meeple Pete and me.
Oof. So it's Essen, it's day 3, it's the Saturday. We're at the meet and greet event. Meet and play, I believe it's called. And I'm here with the head honcho, the big cheese, the woman who oversees everything. This is Dominique Menster. Dominique, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I can't talk anymore because I don't have a voice anymore. But I think it's a great fair. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's close to
2019.
Yeah. And and everybody is happy, and we have a lot of exhibitors. So I think it's a great mood we are all in.
So you got taken over by the Spielwarenmesse last year, right? What has changed for you at Spiel since that takeover, or has nothing changed? Are you doing the same job essentially?
Up to now, the last year I did this year I did the same job as I always did. We hope that now something will change, because the goal is that we will rearrange the whole team, and we have to find someone who will do my job for the future, and I will need some time to how do you say that in English, to work.
To train up the new person.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope this would start now after this fair. But this year we did it with 2 people, the whole show.
And so I've noticed just little changes. So I got my press pass by email this year and not by post. Is there a hope that Spiel becomes more digital? Because the app, I've been using the app and it's actually very, very good. Is there a hope that there'll be more sort of digital integration over the next few years?
I mean, we started it already in 2019 a little bit. And now, of course, all these data in the app, or we already have anyhow. So, of course, we would change a couple more things in the future. That's for sure already now. But there are a lot of plans. I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
But for that, we first need a team, a bigger team. At least 6 people are doing this. And then I hope that we will have next year already a couple of really great things.
And so Wednesday night was the Deutsche Spielpreis ceremony, and it's the first one since 2019.
Yes.
How good did it feel to have that event back on again?
It's the same as it was with the press conference. A lot of things. We didn't do that. We didn't do them for 3 years now. It's the first time after 3 years, and it feels like a little bit coming home again.
Yeah. And so, what do you see? We spoke earlier about when the takeover was announced, and I spoke to you about gamers may being a little concerned that Spiel will go in a direction that is different from what Spiel is now. But, I mean, do you see the future of Spiel as more of the same, or do you see it going in a different direction? What will change in the upcoming year?
I mean, what we would like, and Spielwarenmesse too, is if we will have it more, it has to become even more a gamer convention.
Yeah.
It will not be, nobody wants to do that. A mixture of toys and games,
Sure.
This is not planned. So what we are working on is to make more program, more things like here, from different, how do you say that in English? Now I'm lost.
You can tell me in German and I can translate.
Okay.
What's the word?
Wir brauchen ein großes Programm.
We need a bigger program, a bigger set of events.
Ja, aber ein Programm, das durchaus sehr differenziert ist. Also was wir ja jetzt gerade haben, ist hier, treffen wir uns gerade bei Meet and Play. Und da drüben wird gerade wissenschaftlich über Spiele nachgedacht. Und in einer Stunde geht es da drüben in einem anderen Panel um die Krise, in der die Branche sich gerade befindet. Solche Dinge muss es mehr geben.
So she said that, here we've got the Meet and Play at the moment. Over opposite, in the room opposite, there is the science, games and science thing. And then an hour later, there's a panel on crisis in games. And she wants more of that stuff. Will there ever be here open gaming? Because everyone talks about that. Will there ever be open gaming at Spiel?
I don't want to promise too much, but we are, of course, thinking about something like this. But the solution is probably different than you think now.
Okay.
But it will be great.
Oh, very exciting. You're not going to give me an exclusive?
No, I won't.
And so then, this is the Saturday afternoon, so it's not over yet, but what has been your favourite part of Spiel this year?
It's always the same. I love seeing these people coming in, enjoying themselves. All these people who stop at our booth and they all say thank you that you are doing this. And the special mood they're all in. This is the most, and to meet a lot of people or to see them. And I just see them here. I don't see them, this big gaming family. This is more important to me than new games.
Excellent. Well, Dominique Messer, thank you very much for your time, and I'll let you rest your voice now.
Thank you.
So it's Essen. It's day 3, and I'm here with the. So if Tony's the doyen of British game design, Martin Wallace would be the Grand Master, the Empress of British game design. Okay. Martin Wallace. Martin, welcome.
Thank you.
How's it been for you, apart from, Thursday night having dinner with me must have been the best part of Spiel this
Absolute
year.
highlight. It's been downhill since then. You just can't top that. It's been different. It's been a very, I think the word is interesting, Essen. I don't have a booth,
right?
So I got no fixed abode.
Because you had one last year, right?
Yeah. We weren't selling anything, but it was always somewhere where you could just sit down,
exactly,
put your feet up, watch the world go by. So I got no booth, and I deliberately kept the number of meetings I do to a minimum because I thought I'm just going to do the important meetings. I'm not going to do any meetings that are just catching up. It's just like, no, there's something important to discuss. I'm going to meet up, I'm going to discuss important stuff, like proper grown-up business people. So basically I've had like one meeting a day. So a lot of the time I've just been wandering the halls, which is tiring after a while.
Is it nice to be a punter though?
No. For me, no, because I don't buy games.
Right.
I don't have any luggage space. I don't buy games. I don't particularly want to sit down and play a game, learn a game, because it's too noisy. And I also kind of figure, for those companies showing games, they want to show it to people who are potentially going to buy the game.
Right.
So it's been a bit dull. It's been a bit flat. Really.
So you don't have a massive game library back in Australia?
No.
Where do you get your inspiration from?
You mostly.
Yeah. I mean,
Ben is always saying
Steve's
that.
a very attractive man, so obviously.
So what you're saying is that you can only get inspiration by playing other people's games and then ripping them off. Is that what you're saying?
I would never suggest anything of the like.
Okay. I don't have a big games collection. I have obviously I have some of my own games. I have a few key games like Terra Mystica, Terraforming Mars, Puerto Rico, classics.
Yeah.
And then I got a number of simpler games that I use to introduce people to the hobby, like Bluff, Billabong, all the kind of standard, really simple, light but fun games. But no, I'm not somebody who collects games. But my gaming friends, they're the ones who go, they'll get a Kickstarter game and I just go to their house or go to the club and play there. So I get to play these games. It's just I choose.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to rip them off if you didn't get to play them. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you have to play them to rip them off. Yeah. And to be fair, yeah, I do take inspiration. I am inspired by the dance. I like to play whatever's hot. See what people are talking about, play it and work out. Okay, so what is it about this game that makes it appealing to other players? And then sometimes I'm bemused, thinking, why is this game so appealing to other players? Because it seems to be a whole pile of rubbish to me.
Right.
But there you go. There is no working out.
You can swear on here, Martin. It's fine.
Okay.
But you have a local gaming group where you get to play games?
Yeah, I mean, Brisbane there's some civilization in Brisbane. There's
a casino, I know that.
Yeah, it's not a complete desert. No, there's. I go to the League of Extraordinary Gamers. They have a meet-up about once or twice a month. There's one-day events that are organised. There's an afternoon thing at my local University of Sunshine Coast. So there's stuff going on. There's quite a lot of gaming activity. You'd be surprised.
And so, how's Bloodstones then?
So how's
Bloodstones? You just finished the Kickstarter campaign. How did you feel about it?
I was just about to say I've had an operation for it, but anyway, it's fine. It's gone well. It started a bit slow. It picked up. It got to a nice number. I think the nice thing for me, it's not so much the money it made, but the way the team worked.
Yeah.
In that Cassie Simpson was running the Game Found thing, and she was working closely with the artist Leith Walton and our digital video guy Ian Anderson. And basically I just sat back. I was hardly involved.
Right.
They were on Discord, they're saying, oh, we should do this and we'll do that and we'll pop this thing up, and Ian would get some graphics.
Ian didn't get interrupted to go on a Jethro Tull tour or anything?
No, I've already made that reference on the website. I know. First time I met him, because it's like, you're not that Ian Anderson, no. He's a lovely guy. He's a real expert on digital animation.
Right.
So it was great to see the way the team worked, and knowing that, this is solid. This is a solid team. We can do this again and again, and we can learn. We know what we did wrong. We can lay the ground better for the next one, and this is something to build on, because that's what I'm looking to do, is to build a proper games company in Australia.
Right.
Which is not easy to do there. There's been quite a few people who've tried it before, and usually these companies have gone out of business.
Yeah.
So, because you're a long way from the market. So we've got expansions planned, we've got extra maps planned, got my friend Stephen working on the solo version. So it's not a fire and forget, it's not a one-off thing. This is a game that I'm going to be putting a lot of effort into to try and build it as a brand, because I think it's a really good game.
Yeah. And so is Wallace Designs going to have a stand at Essen next year?
I'm flip-flopping on that.
Okay.
I've got an idea. What I might do, there's a company I've got a meeting with back in the UK, and I'll see if they're interested in maybe sharing a stand, because running a stand on my own might be just a bit too much.
Right.
It used to be easy, but now it's like talking to Duncan Malloy, Rebellion. They chose to bring no stock here, because if they sell stock, technically they have to pay VAT.
Oh, so it's all Brexit bullshit, is it?
It's a combination. It's a combination of Brexit
and German officiousness.
Okay.
Where the Germans have decided if you want to pay, it used to be, if you paid VAT, you just paid it to your country and then it was reconciled.
Okay.
You know, there's this big reconciliation where different countries would just work out who's paid VAT.
Yeah.
And you only needed to be registered for VAT in your home country. Whereas now, if you to pay VAT in Germany, you have to be registered for VAT here,
right?
And you have to pay somebody to be a VAT accountant kind of guy,
wow.
Which is a significant amount. I think he might have said like 15,000 euros a year.
Bloody hell.
Exactly. I may be incorrect, but it's a serious chunk of money just to have somebody fill in a form, or most of the time the form will be filled in zero, because you're only selling here once a year.
Right.
Germany loves to be cut off from the rest of the modern world in every way.
And it just seems like, what's that about? How to make, I was having this discussion last night, it's like, it's just the kind of thing that hurts the little guy.
Right.
Big companies don't care. They've got an army of VAT accountants and so on. It's just not an issue for them. But if you're a small company, that's a significant amount of money.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of extra paperwork. And it's to what end? Who is this actually benefiting? Because at the end of the day, the VAT was still going to get to them one way or another, just via a different route.
Right.
So, I don't know. So it's just, these additional rules and regulations which just make it harder. Getting stuff imported. Like talking to Alicat, they've had when they send parcels from the UK to Europe, half of them get returned. Yeah.
It's making me regret that I voted leave now.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So it's all down to you.
But I'm sure Liz Truss will sort it out, so it'll all be all right in the end.
It will be. She's got it all in hand.
If you're looking for a creative director, at the moment I'm working for Uli Blenneman at Spielworks. I'm his creative director.
Yeah.
He doesn't treat me very well, though.
Yeah.
I think I might jump
And
ship.
Steve's got an incredibly awful work ethic.
Yeah.
And so, if you need someone to not be present...
That's a good reference.
I don't honestly do much.
Yeah.
But, I could be the sort of face of the organization if you need a pretty face.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I can think of prettier faces.
I can at least use the possibility as leverage against Uli. Maybe they'll actually start paying me.
Yeah. Why didn't you tell Uli, hey Uli, Martin's trying to headhunt me, and let's see when he stops laughing.
And so, Martin Wallace, thank you very much.
Which guy?
So it's Essen, it's day 3 now?
I suppose it is,
But it's coming close to the end of Saturday, so if you're alive now, you're golden. So I'm with Ross Arnold, who is the co-designer of maybe the hottest game at this year's convention. Okay. And that's Woodcraft, and it's the one by Delicious Games, co-designed by Vladimir Suki. So, how did you end up working with a legend of the game industry and designing a game?
Well, firstly, being very lucky.
Right.
That's the first part. But I reached out to him. He's very active on Board Game Geek.
Right.
So I saw his account on the forums. I reached out to him since I designed over a course of a year or so the first draft, essentially, of what Woodcraft would then become. I reached out to him, sent my sell sheet over to just for Delicious Games to take a look at. He wanted to play it, so I sent him the rulebook and some stuff for him to play with, and he liked a lot of it. The essence is still in the game. It was all about chopping up the wood and running a workshop, and the player mat was sort of as it is now.
Right.
But there was the action selection changed drastically once he got involved. So there were some things he liked, some things he didn't, and he suggested, "Hey, why don't we work together and I can make some changes?" And he did.
And so, what was the relationship like? Was it ever contentious, or was it? I mean, were there things he would change and you go, "Oh, for fuck's sake," or was it always quite, well-spirited?
It was all very well-spirited, especially because I would say he's probably my favorite designer, just as a board game player myself. So every decision he made, or except for one, I would actually say, I just trusted that it was the best thing, and then we tested it,
right?
And I was like happy, it worked. So,
and so So it's fascinating, right? I guess it's like, you end up working with Leo Tolstoy or something.
Right, exactly.
Did you notice his ideas and you were like, oh, bloody hell, that's really clever?
What's funny is, initially, Some of the ideas, absolutely. Some of them, it took me to play them and go, damn, that was brilliant.
Right. And so, I mean, we were at Essen. Woodcraft was one of the, hottest games coming in.
Yeah.
It's been super popular the whole weekend. I mean, how does it feel to be here and have people raving over your game?
It's really surreal. I don't take compliments very well.
Right.
I'm a very awkward person in general.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from near Manchester.
Oh, right, so you're English. It makes
Yes,
sense.
Yeah, right.
I very rarely get complimented, but when I do, it's the most awkward fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And especially, I've never signed anything in my life, so having to sign things, people saying, write something funny, that's just not going to happen.
I'm not bloody Eddie Izzard, for God's sake.
Exactly.
But so what's the future for you now? Is this your first game?
Yes, first thing I ever worked on.
So, what a bloody first game, right? What's the future for you now?
Yeah, well, I'd love to work on some more games. I do have some ideas that I'm currently working on. They are just at the moment on pen and paper, tucked away in a box on my shelf. Nothing's happening with them just yet, but hopefully we'll see. I've got a few ideas that I'm working on. So
and how have you found Essen, not as a designer, but just as, your first Essen from a punter's point of view?
Yeah. Well, I've not had a ton of time to go and explore. I spent any time I did running to get the games that I've really, really wanted to get, like Revive and Deal with the Devil and things like that. So it's mostly just running straight to them. And I would love to have more time just to wander around and explore the games I haven't heard of yet. But I haven't really seen that. So
do you have time tomorrow?
Maybe. We'll see.
Excellent. Well, Ross Arnold, future Deutsche Spiel Prize winner. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate it.
Ben, there's nothing like the walk home after a hard day's work. You get off the train, you've been busting your back.
Yeah.
And
that's the phrase, busting your back.
Well, I didn't want to, for the younger listeners.
This is a family-friendly.
Younger listeners.
This is a fucking family-friendly fucking asshole of a podcast, isn't it?
All right, busting my ass.
Busting your cheeks.
Busting my balls, Ben.
Yeah.
All day for...
All right, Steve, I'm going to give you some... I wasn't going to do this on the air.
Yeah.
But I think...
You understand what I'm going through.
So, I wasn't going to do this on the air, but I think this is the only way to do it.
Yeah.
To make you to get through your fucking thick skull.
What?
You are being fucking exploited by that man. Uli Blennerman is a bloody slave driver exploiting you.
Ben, no.
You work so hard. How many...
I deserve it, though. I deserve it.
How many seconds were you on the booth today? If you were to put it into seconds.
So at one point...
Yeah?
At one point, I walked past the booth.
That's right.
And I turned my head to the right. I just sort of glanced.
Right.
And then I kept going. Because everything was sound, because of all the prep we did.
What does he expect from you, Steve? What do you fucking expect?
No,
I'm sorry I'm getting passionate.
It's fine.
I'm getting passionate.
Uli's he's very fair.
How is he fair?
Well, for example, he told me I don't have to work any more cons the rest of the year, actually.
That's it, we did meet him and he said you don't have to work any more cons the rest of the year. Yep. How many more cons are Spielworks doing, did he say, for the rest of the year?
I think he said 0.
Right.
But nevertheless, it's the thought that counts, right?
Frankly.
I think he's extending me a courtesy because he realizes I'm a little bit burnt out.
I think, frankly, you've just got so used to the abuse that you're taking it now. You've got Stockholm syndrome. You've got Billebeck syndrome.
Look, I'm gonna have a talk with Uli. We're gonna sort it out. It's gonna be fine. But it's just nice to finally be walking back to the flat. It's a beautiful evening. It's got that sort of autumn chill.
It does.
It doesn't quite bite, but it. What?
Kisses.
It kisses,
it kisses your cheeks.
Yeah, and I just need it after today,
I honestly, the work you've done for Spielworks. So if we're looking at hours, right, since
it's very hard to calculate in hours.
Since Berlin Con. In hours, sure, I imagine it's quite hard to calculate.
Hey, just because I'm not doing manual labor all the time doesn't mean I'm the creative director. This is not a labor-intensive job for Spielworks.
Not physically laborious.
I'm thinking about Spielworks all the time.
So I'm
coming up with ideas. I'm talking to people. I'm taking...
Who are you talking to?
I took a pitch today from Martin Wallace, in fact.
That's true, you did, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke to Matthias Kama.
Yeah, about Spielworks?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I told him I'm the creative director.
So, you know, how many like distributors and publishers and partners internationally have you been on the phone with?
I don't think that this is what's important. Okay. I landed Cora Quest, first of all.
Okay.
I landed Cora Quest, a German language edition.
Okay.
Uli's going to publish it.
Is that been completely signed off on now?
I've signed off on it.
Right, okay.
Spielworks.
So Dan, you're listening to this. Your Spiel des Jahres is in the fucking bag.
Let's talk about marketing. I've organized an entire Spielworks hall at Berlin Brettspielcon 2023.
True. You did organise, and it's not even that expensive, is it?
I forget the price.
I mean, it's tens of thousands. It's nothing for a man like Uli, is it?
I mean, I think the Spielworks empire can afford the drop in the bucket that this will cost.
Exactly.
And like, think about the return on investment.
He's also paying for the 5 games for Doomsday Room, right?
Who's that?
Uli, Spielworks.
Yeah, I think we can do like some kind of co-branding thing.
Okay, great.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm on top of it.
Excellent.
Uli trusts me with these decisions.
I mean, clearly he does, yeah. So, so you're not going to quit as creative director then?
I don't know. Let's see what happens tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, like, it's a lot of work. I like to think that it's worth it because I'm doing everything in service of this brand, you know?
Right, exactly. So now you're a professional in the board game industry. I mean, how does it feel to be like on the same level as someone like Uli Blennerman?
I mean, he worked for years to get where he is.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
like decades, right?
You're like you're like a shooting star, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe it would be possible for me to come up from like where I was, which was like 6 months ago. I was nothing. Nobody, nowhere.
Guesting on some 2-bit podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Now look at me. Right. I'm like exactly where Uli, maybe a little bit higher actually.
Well, you've negotiated a whole hall.
Yep.
At BerlinCon.
I'm not just doing it.
You signed a game today, like a top children's game, which is exactly in Spielworks' wheelhouse, like a kid's game.
I think Spielworks needs to expand its portfolio a bit.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on.
You're the visionary in this company, not Uli bloody Blennerman.
Look to the future, Ben. That's all I'm saying.
I just can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait for Uli to listen to these podcasts and just thank you. I think when he brings you in for your annual review.
Oh, I love those.
I think I should be in there.
I usually cry.
Yeah.
But everything he says is the truth.
I think I should be in there to record it, to hear the unrestrained thanks that he gives you.
Let's make sure this happens. Maybe after a hockey game.
Right, exactly. He's coming to Berlin in November.
Oh yeah, we could probably do the performance review then.
Right, during the match.
Yeah, absolutely. Like halftime or whatever it is they do in hockey.
So
I think they do thirds in hockey.
Exactly. This is not our street, is it? We're not on
is.
Gonheider. Is it Gonheider?
No, this is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, we're walking through Gladbeck. It's, I tell you what the best thing about Essen is.
I'm pretty like not feeling very glad
to be back.
yeah, exactly.
You know what's great about Essen?
Not Gladbeck.
Public transport's so fucking reliable.
Oof, it's been rough. I mean? It's been a rough one this year.
Really the worst, I think, honestly. I don't think Gladbeck, see, last year it was a public transport black hole, right? This year, I don't think Gladbeck's particularly a public transport black hole.
I mean, it shouldn't be. There's a train station, according to our Airbnb host, only 7 minutes walk from the apartment.
Yeah, certainly not 7 minutes.
He left off the 17 minutes.
Exactly.
So, we should be able to like get back and forth pretty easily. Has not been pretty easy.
And the trains have just been just fucking awful this weekend.
Yeah, just constant failures, delays.
Saying that, so many times Essen's been a fucking disaster train-wise. Just not local trains. I think 3 years in a row they had a train strike.
Yeah.
Going back to Berlin, which was a fucking nightmare.
Well, we still have the return trip to Berlin to look forward to, don't we?
Ain't that lovely?
Yep.
So it's Saturday night.
Yeah.
We're heading back to play Deal with the Devil. What's your highlight been of Essen so far?
I was hoping you would ask me this question. Honestly, this is totally unexpected.
Yeah.
Hanging out with Martin Wallace.
Oh, he's a good bloke, isn't he?
I mean, I've only known him as a kind of like mythical figure in board gaming. I didn't realize you were such close friends with him, and we've been kind of. Well, he's been holding court since Thursday.
Right.
And we keep running into him, chatting with him, having drinks with him. If Tony Boydell is the doyen of British gaming...
He's the empress, isn't he?
I mean, he's like the soul, maybe. He's the Falstaff of British gaming, for sure.
Well, he certainly is the Falstaff of British gaming. Yeah, Martin is such a lovely bloke. And he's been so sort of...
Does he listen to this?
No, absolutely. Fucking podcast.
Okay, so we shouldn't kiss his ass too much then.
No, but he's a lovely bloke. It's been a wonderful time. And, it's such a shame, and if you listen to this, Tony, that you didn't stay longer. Because Tony's such a fucking gentleman. And he's such a laugh as well. And
yeah, Tony's great. Tony, you're great.
And it's such a shame that he left on Saturday morning.
Tony and I are going to climb Mount Snowdon together.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, next summer. You want to come?
No.
Me, Tony, maybe Martin will fly in.
You got to kiss each other at the top. On the trig point.
Man can dream.
Okay, we're going... That's not our street, love.
Isn't it?
No. The Strasse or something's our street.
Next one.
Yeah. And yeah, it's lovely to speak to Kathleen today. And, I managed to grab pretty much everyone I wanted to speak to on this trip, apart from Ignacy from Portal.
It's kind of a day of hangs for us.
Yeah, it's been... I mean, I had a bit of a downer earlier. I wasn't feeling great. I'm feeling better now.
God, it's like a roller coaster with you.
It is. I mean, it's a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
But I love Essen. I love it.
I mean, do you always get to this point every year where you think, I can't do this anymore?
I hit the fucking wall every year. It just depends.
Never coming back.
Happens. Yeah, it just depends when it happens. And
I'm already looking up hotels for next year.
Yeah, and I think we've discussed it. I think I don't want to dick around with the villages around Essen next year.
No.
I just want to fucking stay in Essen. I'm willing to spend a tenner extra a night or whatever, just to not have this fucking shite.
Yeah, we got to be where the action is. I mean,
exactly.
If we're this popular this year, like imagine 12 months from now.
Well, exactly.
We could be up to 1% more popular.
I mean, I'll get 4 people coming up to me and going, "Ooh, yeah, I think, all right," and it'd be amazing. And I got to chat with I haven't really had a chat with Paul Grogan since pre-COVID. It was nice to have a chat with Paul today. And yeah, today's actually started off a bit rough. I felt a bit, fucking spirit-wise a bit low, but it's ended quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Essen for us has had kind of a good narrative in a way.
Yeah.
And you, the listener, have been along for the ride during this narrative. You are characters in this story. And if you want to continue the story, head to spielworks.de. Get on Twitter @UliBlay, #KeepSteve in the feed.